What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome into the Thomas Mott Show on Thanksgiving. Yes, happy Thanksgiving here early on a Thursday morning. Couple of things going on with Philadelphia, a couple of things going on with Odell Beckham Jr., a couple of things going on with the rest of the National Football League. I want to jump on and give you guys a Thanksgiving Day show. I wasn't going to do one, and then I said, what do you really do on Thanksgiving? Yeah, you watch football. Yes, you hang out with your family, but a lot of times you do, especially people my age, sit down on the couch, you're on your phone, and so I said, why not? We'll give you guys a show to keep you entertained, although you should be hanging out with your family today and having fun. Remember that. I do want to start with this report of a new coach being hired to Philadelphia, not as an offensive assistant, even though he comes from an offensive coordinator background, but he's going to be a defensive consultant with Jonathan Gannon, and it's interesting to see what Philadelphia's thinking whenever they bring this guy in halfway through the season. Here's the Bleeding Green Nation write-up on this new coaching hire in Philadelphia. Eagles reportedly hiring Nick Sirianni's former replacement. And so this whole detailed article is fascinating. Quote, Eagles have hired former Indianapolis Colts offensive coordinator Marcus Brady as a consultant, according to a report from ESPN's Tim McManus and Stephen Holder. Brady was Nick Sirianni's replacement when the Eagles hired him away from his position as Indy's OC. He was previously the Colts quarterback coach in 2019 and 2020. End quote. So you read that and you go, okay, he's offensive assistant, comes over from Reich's system. He's going to help out with Sirianni in the offense. Not so fast. Listen to this. Quote, ESPN reports that Brady is working primarily with defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon and his staff, offering perspective as an offensive coach on how he would attack the Eagles' defense. This report also notes that Brady's discussed a role with the Eagles last week, but did not hire him until this week due to the sensitivity around the Colts game. Brady was fired earlier this month after the Colts dropped a 3-4-1. Here's what our associates over at Stampede Blue had to say at the time. Some will be quick to call him a scapegoat, but it's hard to argue with the fact that under his coordination, the Colts currently boast the 30th best scoring offense in the league. The Colts offense is absolutely struggling, and while it's easy to point fingers at the most visible members of the organization, none of us can be sure what's happening behind closed doors at Colts headquarters. So this whole article really gives you an interesting look at what Philadelphia is trying to do. Now, NFL teams do this all the time. This is not a unique Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie signing of bringing in consultants, but the fact that Philadelphia is going out and getting somebody from Frank Reich's system, one, showcases how much Frank Reich has an impact on the current Eagles coaching staff, especially Nick Sirianni. Sirianni trusts Frank Reich. He obviously is consulting with Frank Reich, as we have talked about, and even trusts guys under Frank Reich to come in and consult for Philadelphia. But two, bringing in an offensive guy to work with Jonathan Gannon. This to me is massive. This to me shows that they like Gannon, but much like us, Philadelphia Eagle fans, Philadelphia people in the media, we don't like certain things about Jonathan Gannon, right? Jonathan Gannon as a whole, as we'll see, is a really, really good defensive coordinator statistically. But there are certain times where you go, what was that play call? Or certain situations where you go, why didn't you blitz? Or why did you, play press coverage? Or why did you, play off man? Whatever it is, where you kind of wonder if Gannon is too hard-headed or too focused in his ways. Whatever it is, bringing in a guy to consult him on how he would attack Gannon's defense, to me, cannot be a bad thing. It's got to be a good thing. Now, how much of an impact will it make? I don't know. But it will make some sort of impact, and if you're just getting a little bit through to Gannon on the areas where he struggles a little bit, maybe the Eagles' defense can go from, again, terrible last year, much better this year. At one point, one of the best defenses in the league. They've kind of fallen off a little bit the past couple of weeks, but get them back to being a top-tier, high-functioning defense. That way you can beat the good football teams left in your schedule, and most notably the big football teams with good offenses you're going to play in the postseason. As I mentioned, this defense for Philadelphia still is top 10 in most major statistics. In total team defense, in terms of yards per game, they're number 2, only behind San Francisco, averaging just 300 yards per game. Again, the best in the league is 283. Whenever you go to just total points per game, Philadelphia is still inside the top 10, rounding out at number, 7 behind the Bucs and the Bills and the Niners and the Broncos. They're only giving up 18.3 points per game, and that is counting the week 1, 35 points to the Detroit Lions. You take that game out of there, and this is back down into the low teens versus being up there in the high teens. Yes, rushing yards per game is kind of the one issue right now in Philadelphia. You got to scroll down a little bit to find them. They're kind of middle of the pack at 122, but Gannon has done a very good job and has done a good enough job to obviously be considered one of the better young defensive minds in the National Football League. But bringing in a guy like Brady, even if he doesn't do much and he's only in a couple of meetings, keep making this team better. I think Howie Roseman is going, guys, we are so good. And let's not be 98% perfect. Let's try and get to be 100% perfect. That means even if you have a really good defense like Gannon has had this year, there's still room for improvement, and bringing in a guy who's a former offensive coordinator, I think, is a very solid move. How much of an impact will it make? We'll never really know, right? When I'm not in the locker room, I can't really know for sure, but it probably will make some sort of impact, and I would bet that it's going to go ahead and be positive. All right, I'm also positive Philadelphia's going to win on Sunday. Well, I mean, I feel pretty good. I can't ever say they're going to win 100%. But if you guys think Philadelphia is going to win on Sunday, bet with my friends at DraftKings. We have a great link here. Most channels don't have a DraftKings link. This is fantastic here for the Thomas Mott Show. Hosted on the TFN website. Link down below in the description box. You bet $5 on Philadelphia. This says Thursday night, but $5 on Philadelphia on Sunday night. You get $200 back if they win. So you go to the link, you go down here, you click sign up, and then of course register, deposit $5, place a $5 money line bet on the Eagles, and then you get $200 back if the Eagles win. Again, this is an evergreen promo happening right now that will be good for Sunday night. We'll have the right link down below in the description box. So jump in on this right now. It's a really good chance to win some money and have some fun. Maybe you spend a lot of money on Black Friday. You want to win some back and free bets too with our friends at DraftKings. Okay, I want to quickly throw to a fun quote from Ndamukong Suh. SI.com's Eagles Today has a good write-up on Suh versus Aaron Rodgers. You forget that Ndamukong Suh historically played a lot of games against Aaron Rodgers, especially with the Detroit Lions. You go back to the Bucs as well. Think NFC Championship game a couple of years ago. Suh does not like A-Rod, and I think it could be maybe a recipe for a big day for Ndamukong Suh on Sunday night against the Green Bay Packers. He said, quote, "Aaron is very, very smart. He gets rid of the ball, he runs to the sideline, and then look at you and laughs as he throws the ball out of bounds so he can't get a sack. He knows what he's doing. Obviously, it's a very fast release, smart quarterback. No question. I dislike the Packers very much. Whether I'm playing with the Eagles or somebody else, without question, I have all the desire to get after the quarterback and create havoc for that offense." Suh, of course, again, historically, has played a lot of games against Aaron Rodgers, and back in 2014 was suspended when he stomped on Aaron Rodgers' leg, even though that suspension was later on appealed. But still, a little bit of bad blood there. Really interesting to see what Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph, with a week in the Eagles system versus just a couple of days in the Eagles system, is able to do on Sunday, not just against Aaron Rodgers, more specifically Aaron Jones, because that rushing attack is what's kept the Packers at least somewhat relevant this year, even though they are sitting at 4-7. All right, NFL national story of the day. I want to go ahead and wrap up with some OBJ stuff. Obviously, you're probably watching this. Maybe it's Thursday morning here on Thanksgiving. Maybe it's afternoon. Maybe the Cowboys are already playing right now. Upon filming this show, Cowboys have not played yet. We're hoping the Cowboys lose to the Giants, and big time rooting for the Vikings to lose as well. I think Cowboys versus Giants has a major impact on the final story of the day, and that is OBJ and where he could possibly go. According to CBS Sports, see an NFL Rumors tweet here, quote, "Odell Beckham Jr. team will likely be on the field today. Source close to OBJ said the Giants, Cowboys, and Bills are finalists per CBS Sports." Side note, I do like the little write-up here of OBJ in an Eagle, or a little drawing of OBJ in an Eagle uniform with some guys, Zay Fasho 2, saying, I must believe. It's probably not going to happen. I'll just be straight up. I know a lot of people who are Eagle fans do watch this show, not everybody. The odds of Eagles getting OBJ are slim to none. But it is very, 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 very fascinating and very important what happens in today's games. You got to root for the Giants to win. You want OBJ to be a Giant. Now, Thomas, the Giants need receivers. Why would you want OBJ to go ahead and be a Giant? Because I'm not as scared of the Giants as I am of the Dallas Cowboys. I respect them. They could easily beat Philadelphia in a couple of weeks. 100%. I mean, what Brian Daboll's done with that offense is nothing short of very, very good. But Dallas is the real playoff threat here, right? Dallas is a real division threat, I would say, in the NFC East. And if they go ahead and get an actual number 2 wide receiver, because I don't think OBJ is ever going to be a 1 again, but a number 2 or a 1B to go alongside CeeDee Lamb, that offense might get a lot better than where it currently is. And it just scored 40 points against the Vikings defense, which, take for that as you will, because the Vikings defense is not as good as some people say. But still, you got to hope that he goes to the Giants. And if he doesn't go to the Giants, hope for the Bills, man. I think him going to the Bills would be the best case scenario. And I don't think he makes the Bills that much better. Now, he makes the Buffalo Bills trickier for Kansas City. Makes the Buffalo Bills a lot trickier for, the Bengals in the playoffs. But you'd only have to face him in a Super Bowl. And if you just get to a Super Bowl, that's a massive win for Philadelphia. So we're going to find this out very, very soon. I don't think it's going to happen later on this week. I think because of Thanksgiving, he'll watch the games today. He'll make his decision. We'll find out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. But I'm obviously going to keep an eye out of here because this is the final big piece to land in the National Football League right now. Suh's been signed. Joseph's been signed. With Philadelphia, this is the final free agent who could potentially put your team over the top, and you got to hope and pray that he is not a Dallas Cowboy by the end of the day, end of the week, or the start of next week, because to me, that'd be a massive blow to Philadelphia as they continue to try to stay atop not only the NFC East, the NFC, but also get to a Super Bowl. All right, very, very simple. Again, we're rooting big time for the Bills today. Sorry, we're rooting for the Lions today because it doesn't really matter who wins, but the Buffalo Bills losing is fine. Big-time Giant fans today and massive Patriot fans. You ever root for the Patriots? If you're an Eagle fan, I very rarely root for the Patriots, but we've got to do it today because the Vikings losing back-to-back games would be Very thankful for that. That'd be fantastic. Okay, again, thumbs up. Shows. Gonna get you guys a show tomorrow. Trying to stay up to date. I know you guys are a little bored at Grandma's house today. I got you. Be sure to subscribe. And let me just say this before I end. I'm thankful for you guys. We're closing 6,500 subs here on the Thomas Mott Show. Over 500,000 views. It's been really fun to talk about whatever I want in terms of Philadelphia, the National Football League. I try and mix it up here, and I hope you guys enjoy that, and I appreciate everything you guys have done. We'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. Don't eat too much turkey.